We have arrived at my full how to spare Jinfeng video. This is everything you need to know to be able to easily spare Jinfeng, but to do it by using skills and strategies that are most effective with Jinfeng. Let's cover first though just generally how to spare a boss, and remember that sparing every boss is how you get the true or best ending of the game. So the way that you spare a boss in Sifu is that you break their structure twice without draining their entire life meter, and you do all of this in phase 2. So breaking their structure means filling up that bar at the top before the bar at the bottom is empty. So that structure bar on top, life bar at the bottom. When you break their structure for the first time, it'll ask you to press triangle circle. You don't want to do that. When you break it the second time, it'll give you the opportunity to press left on the D-pad for PS5, and that's how you spare them. Okay, this next part's important, but it's a little hard to describe. So there are some things that permanently save in Sifu, which you probably know. One of the things that permanently saves is the youngest age at which you beat a hideout. So if you beat a hideout at age 23, you'll always be able to enter the next hideout at age 23 no matter what. So that's one thing that permanently saves that's relevant for us here and now. The second thing that permanently saves is the record that you spared a boss. So what does this mean for you? You can beat a boss without sparing them the first time, and then you can go back and try and beat them again and beat them by sparing them, and you can beat them at age 75, or spare them rather at age 75, but no matter what, the youngest age in which you've beaten a boss by sparing them or knocking them out, that will save for the next hideout. So it's okay if you die a lot, you only have to spare them once to get the true ending. Alright, let's move on to talking now about what actually breaks their structure. What's going to do damage to that structure meter. And it's, as you probably know or can anticipate, it's doing damage, hitting them even when they're blocking, parrying their moves, which is hitting L1 as soon as one of their moves lands, and deflecting, which is hitting it perfectly, hitting L1 perfectly on some moves that then sort of send them into a brief stun. Which I didn't find any ways or places to do that with Jinfeng that were very easy. So that's why parrying with Jinfeng is the #1 and best way to damage her structure, break her structure, and spare her. So parrying, like you can see here, and I'll slow it down for you, is just pressing L1 every time a move lands. And you can see it's doing damage to her structure. It does a little damage to your structure, but does quite a bit of good damage to her structure, which again, when that structure bar fills up, you'll be given the opportunity to spare her. Just wrap up by saying that the best way to spare and beat Jinfeng is to keep your distance, so those combos don't come at you too quickly and you can anticipate, avoid, and parry them. And to parry, pressing L1 every time one of her moves lands. That's the best way to do it because you're going to do damage to her structure while still being able to see and avoid her combos, and I hope that works for you. Alright, let's jump into my full uncut video where I beat and spare Jinfeng. So just note though that the best thing to do to beat Jinfeng is going to be to watch my full how to beat and spare guide where I go through all of her moves. This is really just key tips on how to spare her. So you'll see I'm keeping an eye out for those 2 combos she does most frequently, and I'm focusing when I do get to her on light attacks. So I'm pressing square to try and do some damage. And with Jinfeng, what you want to do is even after she's blocking, you want to try and get a couple more light attacks in, just because her vulnerability windows are so short. But then you want to back up so you have a little more space between you and her, so you can recognize the combo before it's right on top of you. So that's a counter move. I did get a little greedy, and sometimes she'll do that when you try and keep your combo going past where she's blocking, but just be ready to hit and hold L1. You can avoid some of her counters, but it is a little tough. That's another counter, but I made plenty of distance between her. So this is her 3-phase combo, punch, punch, sweep. So I just anticipate that sweep at the end and then go up to her. I've still got my staff. I'm just prioritizing light combos. And you'll see on some of these blocks that I've done, that I've parried. So I've pressed L1 as soon as her combo hits me to increase her structure without doing any damage to her. So there, I broke her structure once. Now we just got to do it once more. Still haven't died. This is sort of high swipe punch but she didn't do a sweep. High swipe, punch. Here comes the sweep. Avoid. Run as fast as you can. Try and get a couple moves in. Didn't work. Here's her counter. I'm just holding L1 that whole time. So she's still got half her life, so I really don't have to worry too much about parrying here. I can do plenty of damage that will also damage her structure without worrying that she's going to die. So avoid that last move of her combo. She's already coming with that counter when I run up to her. So you can see later on here she's a little more aggressive. Her windows seem a little shorter. Let me know in the comments if that's your experience too. Trying to get a couple combo hits there in our little tiny baby vulnerability windows. See what combo's coming. That's the high punch and sweep. I'm a little closer to her. That makes it a little easier to come and get a few more knocks in. Here's her counter. I made some distance. I'm all right. Oh, I tried to get in my focus to end her. Ooh, down to the wire a little bit. So there it is. You can see the spare option come up. And that's the full video. Again, to really figure out and understand all of her moves and how best to attack and a good approach, watch my full video. This is just my how to spare video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you. Jinfeng isn't the hardest to spare, but certainly helps to get your strategy down. And I hope I've helped with that. And again, it's the cause at Midnite Lights. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Midnite Lights. You can see Midnight spelled a little bit differently. Also note that as soon as I get to 1,000 subscribers, any nickel or dime I make off of my videos, we will choose as a subscriber community and meet which charity we want half of that money to go to. Thanks for watching.